And welcome to Check Please, the show where regular people from all over Chicago recommend and review their favorite restaurants. So this is how this show works. Every week we have 3 guests. Each recommends his or her favorite spot, and the other 2 go to check them out to see what they think. This week, teacher Michael Konkoleski says his No-Frills favorite is at the top of its class for fresh food, friendly wait staff, and great late-night eats. He says you got to follow him to his selection. But arts director Tommy Hensel says his spot deserves a standing ovation. For a funky, vibrant, and eclectic night on the town, follow him to his tasty spot. But up first, esthetician Nanda Waite says her pick always leaves her glowing. She says for creative cocktails, a unique menu, and the city's first caviar bar, hop on over to Humboldt Park and join her at Heritage.
When you walk in here, it's a representation of the values that we grew up with, the cuisines that we grew up with, reimagined into a more modern age. Usually caviar, I think, is on a much more elevated plane, and it's something that's fancy, and we wanted it to be truly representative of where it started from, which was on the bar and on the table when people walked into your establishment. Warm bread, house-churned butter, fresh pickles, things that are just going to kind of welcome you into the embrace. We feel that there's something that is going to speak to anybody's sense of family and sense of togetherness. So it's about all these unique traditions coming together in one spot.
So Nanda, you say that Heritage has it all figured out. Tell us why you chose it.
I'm a big brunch girl. This has been my favorite discovery recently. It's in kind of a very unexpected neighborhood. You pull up next to an auto parts store and kind of wonder what you're doing there.
Well, you're going to get caviar, apparently.
But you get caviar, which is something I haven't been able to find in the city anywhere other than like a steakhouse. So it's kind of giving a more approachable caviar experience. People don't need to go out to a big fancy dinner to do it.
Yeah, and you're saying by approachable, actually affordable, which is not something you think of when you think of caviar.
Completely. There's a super wide selection. You can go anywhere from like $10 to upwards of $80.
Tommy, you had made this comment that Heritage is really 2 restaurants in one. What did you mean by that?
Well, I felt like the caviar menu and the other menu, it seems like there actually are 2 separate menus that they give you. And it's almost like it's 2 entirely separate restaurants coexisting in a space together. That's kind of the vibe that I got. So you can go in and just do caviar and Prosecco or champagne or something, or you can go in and just get the other menu. So if you're not a caviar eater, you would still find great stuff on this menu.
I was going to ask if you're not into the, fish eggs, like I'm not doing this. I mean, can you still find something to eat here?
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a pretty extensive menu.
Yeah. I feel like you can add caviar to pretty much anything, but there's a good base menu too.
Yeah.
Michael, you a big fan of caviar?
I wasn't sure what to expect going in. I had it in another country in Peru, and I walked in, and I was very surprised with the whole experience. The caviar was delicious. Me and my wife went, and she had had it before, so she was like the veteran, I was the rookie. They gave a few side plates. They gave some bread, they gave some vegetables, they gave some sauces that were really good that you could go ahead and mix together with the caviar, and it kind of created a whole nice experience to where you weren't just eating caviar. You were able to mix it and get a bunch of different flavors in your mouth. I left being a huge fan of caviar. And when I think of the area of the west side of Westtown, I think of Archie's and a good local dive bar where there's a ham sign. You could get a hams for $2 or $3. And 1 block south is this caviar bar. It was literally out of nowhere.
It's funny that you mentioned dive bar because Chef Guy, the owner, actually said that back in the old days, and in Chicago, caviar is what you would serve at a dive bar, that it was kind of an everyday food. It wasn't until much later that it became a luxury item. So kind of speaking to that sort of history of caviar. So Tommy, we said we're sending you a caviar bar in Humboldt Park. Your first thoughts?
Well, my first thoughts were, yay, caviar. I love caviar. And my second thought was, where? You don't think
it's unexpected,
It
right?
is totally unexpected, and you're right. The caviar was amazing, and the price point, astonishingly good. And what I loved the most about it was the chips that they served. Like their homemade chips were probably the best thing I've ever put caviar on.
Did you dive into the non-caviar menu?
I did. We actually dived a lot into the rest of the menu. As a matter of fact, my friends and I ordered appetizers, and we each had a different entree so that we could share, and then we also did a dessert. My friends had the halibut and the skirt steak. I ordered the fried quail. It was beautiful. It was probably one of the prettiest entrees that I have seen in the longest time, but it was too hot. I'm not a fan of spicy food, so luckily my friend who was across from me loves spicy food, so we swapped entrees. So I had the halibut and she had the quail, and everybody was happy.
Nando, what are some items you like to get at brunch?
Obviously do the caviar, but they have a smoked trout dip that's so good. The eggs on eggs, which is with bone marrow. It's rich, but so good, and again, like beautiful. It's so pretty and colorful.
Did you try the chicharrones with the shrimp?
No, but I'm dying to.
Oh, those were amazing. Chicharrones with the shrimp dip. Try those.
Me and my wife, we split the halibut and we split the octopus. The octopus looked like the most exotic food on the non-caviar menu, and I liked that, and it was delicious. You could see the tentacles and everything, and I liked the way it looked. The presentation was great. It tasted delicious. The octopus was great, but the halibut was out of this world. It was baked in the sauce that was creamy. It almost kind of tasted like biscuits and gravy in the morning, kind of that texture and that flavor that you would get on the gravy. I kind of wish I ordered it because my wife did. So
and that's the one I ended up with. It was amazing.
Right. I'm glad she didn't eat the whole thing because I got leftovers.
The mission of Heritage is to bring together the food of the immigrants of Chicago. The menu is a blend of Eastern European flavors, and then you have some Polish flavors, but then you also have Korean thrown in there.
Which is Chicago. Yeah. Everybody's here.
All right, Nando, you picked Heritage. Sum it up for us.
I think it's comfortable and a really good way to try something new, and great spot for brunch.
Mike?
A delicious spot if you want to try something new that most people haven't done in Chicago. Kind of in the middle of an area where you wouldn't expect it, but delicious.
And Tommy?
I would say if you've never had caviar, this is the spot to go to try it for the first time.
Well, you can try the caviar and much more at Heritage Restaurant and Caviar Bar, 2700 West Chicago Avenue, 773-661-9577. They're open for dinner Monday through Saturday from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. and brunch on Saturday and Sunday. Reservations are accepted, and the average tab per person without drinks is $40. We've talked tacos a fair amount on Check Please, but Michael Konkoleski says his favorite Jalisco-style restaurant is a cut above the rest. For a place that's open late and the food's great, meet up with him at El Solazo.
It's all a family. You know, we are family, and I think that everyone that's here really cares about what they're doing and likes what they're doing, and that's really important.
It feels really comfortable because I'm with my family. I like to talk to a lot of new people. I want them to say that they had a good meal. I like making churros, which is a Mexican dessert. It's good, it's not like microwave food, or it doesn't come frozen.
We take a lot of pride in that. We're very proud of what we're doing, and we hope that people, you know, walk out of here with that experience, and that's definitely what we wake up every day, hoping that people leave here with, and have people really enjoy it and say, this is one of the best places to have food on Pulaski Road or in Chicago, period.
So Mike, you say that El Solazo is mouth-watering Mexican cuisine. Tell us why you chose it.
This is one of the few restaurants, in my opinion, where you can't go wrong with anything that you order. Everything is made fresh, everything is brought to you really quick, everything is brought to you with a smile on the face of the staff. the restaurant likes to hire people that live in the neighborhood, and the people that live in the neighborhood bring all their authentic recipes from their homes, and they bring it to the restaurant, and it's made fresh to order when you order it.
Muy auténtico.
Exactamente.
All right.
Sí. Yeah.
Well, Nanda?
Loved it. Had a really good time. I went after a concert, so it was perfect.
What time did
late
you go?
night. 1 a.m.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you caught the
yeah.
late night crowd
I
and
went.
everything.
It was
That's
a
awesome.
crowd
Because
too.
it's known for its late night. They're
It
open until
was-
4 a.m. on Saturdays.
Yeah, it was packed.
Were you surprised?
Yes.
Like, where'd all these people
Especially-
come from?
Yeah.
Were they at the concert?
I'm like, why were they here? And it's out by Midway, so I expect like a big crowd at night in the city. I wasn't necessarily expecting it like out that way. It was awesome.
All right. Did it add to your experience to have like the hustle and bustle there?
Yeah. I mean, I think everybody was on the same level at that time of night. Still kind of
Energy-wise? 'Cause
yeah,
it is BYOB.
yeah. Everybody is still kind of amped up from their night and kind of winding down and hungry and tacos.
You know, I first mentioned I was going to El Solazo to a lot of my friends who are Mexican, and their first response was they would light up immediately. This is one of their favorite restaurants.
So you felt like you were in the in crowd all of a
I
sudden.
kind of did. So I liked many of the things that we ordered. Some of them, though, I just didn't love. And I think part of it was just the spicy level was just too high for
All
me.
right, what'd you get?
So we started with the guacamole, but the chunks of jalapeno were a little too much
Too
for
spicy.
me. But my friend liked it, so because she liked spicy foods. We did try 3 different tacos. We did a barbacoa, the chicken adobado, and one of the vegetarian tacos. All of those were amazing. And the special that weekend was green pork pozole. And that is probably the best pozole that I've ever had. It was amazing. So I would definitely recommend that. And then we ended with the churros, because you have to
I
have,
love your pronunciations.
yeah, you have to have churros in a Mexican
Muy
restaurant.
auténtico.
Yeah, exactly.
I tried, but the churros were amazing. That's one, whatever else you order, I would say if you're going for authentic Mexican dessert, go for that.
Go for the churros.
We started with queso fundido because who doesn't love a pile of cheese? It came with chorizo. Then my friend did 2 tacos, the al pastor and the steak, and I did cheese enchiladas. So I had a cheesy night.
So Mike, what are your favorites to get there?
I'm a huge fan of the tacos. As we mentioned before, you can't go wrong with tacos. I usually get the chicken adobo, the pollo adobo. I get the cochinita pibil, and I'm a huge fan of the lengua taco that they have there.
Have you ever gotten the parrillada?
I have, yes, I have.
I mean, that looks pretty intense.
I wanted to get that.
amazing.
I
Oh,
so
it's
wanted that.
So
The mountain
it was-
of meat.
It was delicious. It was so, I mean, I've had it multiple times.
So what
but
comes
it's-
on there?
So you get carne asada, you get chorizo, and you get the adobo chicken like you had gotten on your taco, but they have it in chunk form and everything. And on top of that, you get, they get jalapenos, but you can ask for without jalapenos.
There you go.
You could get onions on there, and then they throw a plethora of mixed vegetables in there, and they bring it out to you on a plate that's sizzling, and then whoever you're with can just go ahead and chow down. Tortillas, rice, beans, the whole
I saw you could
enchilada,
add
if you will.
seafood too.
It is, yes.
And
The
if I go
shrimp.
back, I am
Oh,
so going to get that.
100%.
It's a big menu.
Yeah. And I could confidently say I've had about 90% of the menu, and everything is delicious.
You know what I loved is they had those aguas frescas. They make these fresh waters every day.
Oh, yeah.
And the day I was there, it was a tamarind flavored
yeah.
water.
That's my personal favorite.
That was
Yeah.
spectacular. That tamarind water was amazing.
Yeah.
So
That-
is it always busy?
Yes, it is. Even I've gone there for breakfast at 10 a.m. right when it opens in the morning there. Sometimes it's hours flex. It's pretty much, you got to wait 5 or 10 minutes for a table. I've gone there late at night and a little ashamed, but I've been there 3:45 at night sometimes, and it's a line out the door.
So Mike, what is the restaurant like at 3 o'clock in the morning? I'm very curious.
It is exactly like you think. And what I really appreciate about the restaurant is at 3 a.m., pretty much every time I've gone there, I run into somebody from my past. Whether it's an old friend.
good or bad?
It's mixed. I'm a teacher, so sometimes I've run into students there. You just kind of look the other way because they don't want you to know that they're there, and I don't want them to know that I'm there.
All right, Mike, you chose El Solazo. Sum it up for us.
This is a wonderful local neighborhood restaurant that caters to many different people, and you will always have a good time, and you will leave feeling full and knowing that you ate a delicious meal.
Tommy?
I would say it's a wonderful, authentic neighborhood Mexican restaurant. So if you live in that neighborhood, you should definitely check it out.
All right. And Nanda?
Great place. If you go back for that meat platter.
Well, you can try the pareada and much more at El Solazo, 5600 South Pulaski Road, 773-627-5047. They're open Sunday through Thursday from 9:30 a.m. to 12 a.m., Friday 9:30 a.m. to 3 a.m., and Saturday 9:30 a.m. to 4 a.m. The restaurant is BYOB. Reservations are not accepted, and the average tab per person without drinks is $15. Tommy Hensel says his West Loop recommendation always hits the right notes. He says for an artful meal in a stunning setting, do what he does and find your way to Fulton Market Kitchen.
We try to give people a great experience that's unobtrusive, but in a really funky, fun environment. We call ourselves part art gallery, part cocktail lounge, part restaurant. So we really focus on craft cocktails, we focus on the craft of cooking, and then we are completely covered in local artist artwork. My heart and soul of cooking is in, again, the craft of cooking and doing things with traditional technique and building layers of flavor. But we do have some fun, whimsical kind of things on the menu too. Everything that we do revolves around a table, and as long as the people who come in here enjoy the time that they're spending with the people that they come in with, then I think we've been successful.
So Tommy, you say that Fulton Market Kitchen is fun and funky. Tell us why you chose it.
Well, because it is fun and funky. One of the things I love about Fulton Market Kitchen, well, first of all, it's in a difficult neighborhood because it's just right off of Fulton Market, so you have to kind of know where it is to get there. But that whole rest of that neighborhood is so busy and vibrant now that I think it's not suffering from that. But I love going there because of all the restaurants in the city that I frequent, that one is the most funky in sort of an urban, hip kind of way. I'm originally from the Deep South, and I remember the first time I went to a city and saw a restaurant like that, I was like, what is this? We don't have this where I came from. And I think one of the things I love the most about it is, not just the vibe, but because of the art that's embodied in that restaurant. It's constantly changing. So as you walk around, the rooms change and they're different. So every time you go back, there's just something new to look at.
Yeah, the restaurant was modeled after recreating the art scene in New York in the 80s, and then Wyndham Walls in Miami, sort of that Art Basel feel with like large pieces of art, performance art, The
artwork made it stand out completely. I was enthralled when I walked in and saw the artwork on the walls. I was a little biased. I'm a big aliens guy, and they had UFOs and aliens on the wall above the bar, which I thought was wonderful, and I was so content. Me and my wife, I made her switch seats so that I could look at the artwork.
That alien mural is very cool. It's red and super bright. There's art everywhere. There's something to look at literally everywhere you turn, which is nice too because it brings up a lot of conversation.
I love the bar made out of vintage suitcases. That is the coolest idea ever. It's just really cool.
So Tommy, because the art changes so frequently, different installations, you could be eating there and there's an artist like literally painting right in front of you. Is this like a different restaurant every time you go in?
I think so, it is, yeah. I mean, visually different, but the chef, Chris Curran, also is one of those chefs that really pays attention to seasonal menus, and so the menu is constantly shifting. So every time you go, if you give it a month in between, there's going to be new things on the menu, there are probably new cocktails, and the art is new, so it's a constantly evolving restaurant.
And they have some really cute names for their cocktails, which I think is very important when it comes to cocktails.
Yeah,
They have fun names.
I had the Shrubby McShrubberton, that's like my favorite, and then I had the Honeydew or Don't.
See, they're cute names.
I had the Beauty Salon. Yeah, it was great. First time I'd ever been to a beauty salon.
Nanda, what'd you think?
I loved it. It's nice to eat in a gallery, basically. Also, the food is all shareable, which I love, so I can try a bunch of stuff. I had the venison, which was amazing. I grew up eating deer, not like that. It's not like that. It has like a blackberry reduction on it that was amazing. And then we had a tomato salad with burrata, cheese again. It was great.
What are some of your favorite items to order off the menu?
Well, the venison. I had that as well, and I grew up in a family that was a hunting kind of family, so I ate a lot of venison growing up. And my mother was good at cooking it, but not as good as this restaurant. I really loved that. The burrata as well. I think all of their smaller things, their smaller shareable plates are excellent. But one of the things that I had for the first time this time was the foie mousse that was encased in a globe of mandarin orange gel.
So it's like art on the wall and art on your plate.
Art on your plate and the wall, and that, I have to say, that foie was pretty amazing. You know.
Mike, what'd you order?
We ordered the vegetables with the dipping sauce. Delicious.
It's a fun presentation on the
yeah.
crudité, right? You had?
Yes. Otherwise, we ordered the steak and we ordered the prawns. The prawns were okay, but the steak was a much better option, I thought. And now I regret not getting the venison after you guys were talking about it because it sounded great.
What about desserts?
So I did the peach semifreddo, and then I can't remember what the other dessert we had. I'll have to think about it for a moment.
I was too full. I skipped, but I saw something chocolate that looked amazing.
Yeah. We ordered the lime. There's a
That's
little
it,
lime
the
thing.
key
Was
lime
that what
tart.
you had?
Thank you. I was
yeah,
I know
no
I had
problem.
something amazing.
Yeah.
It was a key lime tart.
So Nanda, on the night of your visit, what was the crowd like?
It was pretty trendy, actually. People, you can tell that they dress up a little bit for it. There were definitely people casually dressed as well. But yeah, you could tell people step it up a notch. It's really, really nice in there.
And how was service, Mike?
The service was okay. The waiter we had was very knowledgeable and everything, but we kind of felt like we were ushered out, which I felt bad for because the environment was great, the artwork was great, the food was good, the people were great, but that was just something that kind of resonated with us.
All right, Tommy, you chose Fulton Market Kitchen. Sum it up for us.
I would say it's a perfect spot to go for a funky, urban, hip experience with excellent cocktails and great food.
Mike?
I would say if you're looking for an environment with wonderfully crafted drinks and good food and a great ambiance and good environment to look at, you should go to this place.
And Nanda?
It's trendy, upscale, nice, comfortable.
Well, you can experience it for yourself at Fulton Market Kitchen, 311 North Sagamon, 312-773-6900. They're open Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. to 1 a.m., Saturday, 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. Reservations are accepted, and the average tab per person without drinks is $50. So in this week's show, we featured Heritage Restaurant and Caviar Bar in Humboldt Park, El Solazo in West Elsden, and Fulton Market Kitchen in the Fulton Market District. Let's recap what our guests had to say. First, we headed to Chicago Avenue and stopped by Heritage Caviar. Nanda recommends it for an affordable and approachable caviar experience. Michael appreciated the different flavors and left as a fan. Tommy loved the accoutrements and thought the price was on point. Next, we made our way to South Pulaski and dropped in at El Solazo. Michael recommends it for the ultra-fresh Mexican food that's served with a smile. Tommy liked most dishes, but said it was a little on the spicy side. Nanda thought the food was great and loved that it's open late. Lastly, we went to Sangamon Street and dined at Fulton Market Kitchen. Tommy recommends it for the hip design and ever-evolving menu. Nanda loved the shareable plates and the beautiful artwork. Michael enjoyed the cocktails and thought the art made it stand out. Well, we've had just a wonderful time this week, and I'd like to thank my guests, Nanda Waite, Mike Konkoleski, and Tommy Hensel. Join us next week for 3 new guests recommending 3 of their favorite restaurants right here on Check Please. I'm Alpina Singh, and I'll see you then. Cheers.
For more information about the restaurants featured on Check Please, go to WTTW.com/checkplease.